What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Bodacious Rant with Burnt and Rye. A24 is having quite the year. Maybe not super successful, but the last couple years they're definitely putting out more movies, and this one has definitely got the A24 style. We are talking about the latest film from one of the Safdie brothers, specifically Benny Safide, who you've seen from recently Happy Gilmore 2, Oppenheimer, and I can't think of anything else at the moment. But anyways, we are talking about The Smashing Machine, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Emily Blunt. That's pretty much the main two stars of this one. Everybody else, I have no idea who they were. This is a non-spoiler review, so we're not going to get too much into it. So if you did like the movie, or if you just like seeing me and Burn talk, we appreciate it. Give us that thumbs up to show your support. Ring the bell for notifications, and subscribe as always. Just, we do appreciate you all joining in and watching our show here and there. So thank you guys. So I would say, The Smashing Machine is definitely a biopic on one of the pioneers of the UFC, aka Mark Kerr, where that's who The Rock plays. And the movie is basically about the high point of his career where UFC is starting to take off, but it's also dealing with his personal struggles. So very much like a typical biopic and stuff. I would say it's very similar to, I don't know if all of you remember it, but The Fighter with Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg, directed by I forgot.
Was that David O. Russell?
I want to say that was a David O. Russell film.
I think it was David
I don't remember, but sounds about right. So it's very similar to that, where it's definitely a lot of the personal stuff with, some fighting and training montages. But yeah, Bern, what, before I kind of, start diving into my thoughts, what did you think about this movie?
I mean, coming into it, I was very interested because on the one hand, you have, one half of the Safdie brothers. They've kind of parted ways and they're doing their own directorial projects. This one, and then the other Safdie brothers doing the Timothy Chalamet ping pong movie that the name is skipping my mind.
I want to say it's Dream Big or like Max Supreme Dream Big. One of those two. I saw the trailer right before this movie.
Yeah, same.
I'm like, so which one is it? Is it Max Supreme or Dream Big? I don't know. We'll have to look at that up later, but keep going, Bert.
Yeah, so it's like, it's one of those things where it's like when directing duos sort of like start to do their own projects, it's always interesting to see like how this person handles, the Coen brothers is the one that comes to mind. So that had that going for it. And then also just the fact that Dwayne Johnson is doing an A24 movie. Like, he's stepping away from that sort of action hero role that he's been doing for the better part of 10 years in movies lately. So I was very intrigued coming in. Also, it being based on a true story, A24 doing it. A lot of really good things going for it, and for the most part, I wasn't too disappointed. I think there are a lot of things that this movie does well. Namely, I would say the aesthetics of the movie really drew me in. I think this was shot in like a 16 millimeter, I believe, and it shows. The movie has that really like old school, old timey feel to it with the film grain. Really transports you into like late 90s Japan era. So I really like how they captured that. And just the way that Benny Safdie shot this movie. It's a lot like his other movies. I'm thinking of like Good Time and Uncut Gems, where there's like sort of a voyeuristic quality to it, where it feels like, the camera's almost like, peeking in on this person's life, and we're just kind of like a fly on the wall, like seeing all the events that occur. So I really liked all that aspects of it, and then the music was pretty enthralling as well. But I mean, I think the other big shining stars are definitely the two leads here. Dwayne Johnson easily gives, I think, his best performance that he's ever given. I joked around with you that's not really a high bar to cross, since he's really basically played himself in a lot of the movies that he's done. But here he actually embodies a character, and I thought like he did a really good job in portraying Mark Kerr. He made me believe that he's a different person. I'm not just seeing The Rock, and I think the prosthetics that were on him were done really well to make him sort of transport himself into that character, and I believed it as well. And I think Emily Blunt also was really really good in the acting that she did, in portraying this very hot and cold character. Where there are positives and there are negatives to that as well, which I'll get into, which is this movie, for all those good things that I listed, it felt very inconsistent. I don't know how you felt about it, but yeah, for me, it just felt like there was a lot of connective tissue missing in this movie, where it felt like moment to moment, and the scenes in isolation felt really good. Like, you know, the acting was really good, the way it was shot, the music in the moments, all these moments felt like, oh man, this is some really good stuff going on here. But it felt like it was missing a lot of those in between the beats that make those moments shine. You know, I think this movie kind of, I don't want to say it's like sleepwalking its way through the movie, but it felt like there was like a lack of urgency. There was a little lack of momentum in this movie. I don't know how you felt about it, but there was like certain things that held it back from being like a truly enthralling sports movie on the sports end and on the drama end.
No, I think you pretty much captured how I felt about it, just because, yeah, while the performances were amazing, I think this is, given, yeah, The Rock really hasn't had the most acting career. I want to say the two solid attempts at him being dramatic were, well, actually three. He had Gridiron Gang, he had, oh my god, I forgot that trucker movie he was doing, Snitch, and then also in we were talking about it at dinner, Ballers. Those are his first, like, those are his, like, his few dramatic roles. Nothing too amazing or award worthy, but he tried, and I think this one
did well in that one Michael Bay movie as well. I'm forgetting Pain and Gain. I thought he did a good job in that one, but that was like years ago.
That was still
at this point.
But I would also count that more as like a more comedic role for him. Like, he's excelled at all the comedic and action stuff, but for this one being like an A24 and a real shot at being dramatic, I think it was a great thing, and it's great to see. You know, really thinking about all these wrestlers like him, John Cena, Dave Bautista. They're all entertainers, one form or another, you know, also athletes. So it's nice to see them channel that into their acting and like want to keep excelling at it. So all for it. And Emily Blunt, again, always awesome. She looked great. She definitely, when it was hot and cold scenes, excelled in those. But at the same time, because her character and then just the story, it felt very disjointed. It wasn't super clear on when this movie was taking place, or you know, the motivations. I felt like with like the way they did it, it's like the motivations were really like out of nowhere with some of these scenes. So I felt very confused by that. But yeah, I compared it to The Fighter in a way where I think you captured it perfectly, where it's like, it's almost like a voyeuristic thing. Like we're almost in a documentary, but not really, like a very, like almost like a dramatic reimagining of it. So, and yeah, and you know, I think sometimes with these brothers directors, I think sometimes it should keep them. Like, thank God the Russos are still working together, even though they've had some flops still since Marvel. But so have the Coen brothers, like the one Coen that did Drive Away Dolls, and then I forgot the other one that just came out. Like, Drive Away Dolls wasn't bad, but it wasn't like anything. It wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be, and the new one definitely kind of flopped. And this one, you know, critics got it. The critics liked it so far, but it was just, he's missing something. I think it's the editing that really kind of killed this for me. But The Rock had some great emotional scenes. So with all that being said, I'm gonna give this one a 3 out of 5, just because I'm like, it definitely could have been better, but it's not a bad biopic whatsoever. I think this is definitely one for The Rock to be like, okay, you've gotten comedy and action, now keep going with the drama. Let's see what else you got, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely a step in the right direction, I think, for at least for me as someone who enjoys like watching him perform. It's something that I've been wanting for a while, you know, where it's like we've seen you do the action movie stuff. We just want something a little bit new now, and this definitely hit that mark for me, where I think, you know, him actually diving deep into a character. And actually like doing some playing not himself. It was really good. But But yeah, I think the movie as a whole doesn't live up to its like individual parts, like I was mentioning when it comes to the aesthetics, the music, and the two central performances. Those are all really really great. It's just all the things that you bring together to make it all work. It was lacking. Like there are points in the movie where it keeps jumping forward in time, and it felt like that essentially did a disservice to the movie because it made everything feel disjointed, where a certain emotional beat would happen and then all of a sudden it's a year later now and you can't really like track these characters and their relationships, and it all just gets really muddy and messy. And to add on to that, the sports scenes itself, because of all this erratic editing, it didn't feel like what you want from a sports movie, where you have that natural build of tension, where we're gearing up for the big fight, and you want that to land and you want that to hit emotionally, but it just kind of felt like it came and went because of the way that it was put together. So again, there are things that leave me a little bit disappointed, but there are individual elements there that really it's hard for me to not recommend it, just for those things on their own. So yeah, for me it's going to be a 3 out of 5 as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Dwayne Johnson were to get a nom for this. But there's so many good performances this year that we'll have to see how it all shapes up. But if he were to get a nomination, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I definitely think this is not like a acting like nomination worthy, even for Emily Blunt, I would say too, because she had some really good dramatic parts in it as well. But yeah, the story was just all over the place. So far for this fall season, one battle after another is still my favorite thing so far. But again, we're starting off October, so we got plenty of stuff to come out and talk about. So 3 out of 5 for both me and Byrne. For those of you who did watch this movie this weekend, let us know what you thought about it in the comments. Would love to get your opinions and keep the conversation going. And as always, everyone, stay bodacious and keep on ranting for us.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good, be safe, and as always, we'll catch y'all on the next one.